Hi, Jim Laird from Jim Laird Strength and Conditioning. Just thought I'd hop on here real quick. Got a really good question, and I'm going to try and do more stuff like this. This is something I struggle with. Any kind of internet stuff, emails, blogs, it's just something I really struggle with. So I'm going to try and do a better job at staying on top of this. So here's my attempt. This question is from Diana. And it's a really good question, so I thought I'd hop on here and share it with all of you. I'm reading it from my little tablet. The subject was group of lifters. Hi Jim, I've followed your Facebook page for a while, and I'm thinking about getting a few women together at my gym for a female heavy lifting group. I love to lift heavy. I've found more sustainable results by working out that way, and I find it requires a lot less working out in general if I do more intense workouts while I'm at the gym. I know you coach a team, but I was wondering how your workouts with them are scheduled and how you rotate on equipment. I'm not trying to put together a competition team, but we have a small space to work in, and I'm just thinking about structure of our lifts and what people are doing while they're not at the squat rack. Well, thank you, Diana. That's a really good question. And I'm going to give you a couple ideas. Thanks for following me, by the way. I appreciate that. And yes, you can lift heavier weights less and get better results than just coming in and conditioning yourself to death. So I have a gym. We have multiple racks and all that kind of stuff. As far as scheduling, it's a weird lighting situation. As far as scheduling goes, we have a schedule that people can schedule themselves at, but generally the lifting team more or less works out at certain times. And when I first started in strength and conditioning, when I was at University of Arizona and Liberty, I'm more comfortable to big groups. And also, I realized early on in my career that if you do a group training model, more people are going to be able to afford your model than if you do one-on-one stuff. And that way it also shelters you from, like, if there's economic hardship or something, you're going to have more people. If you've got a group of 4 to 6 that's training and 1 or 2 have to drop out, you're still have got people. But if you've only got 5 or 10 clients that are doing one-on-one stuff and half of them quit, then you're up the creek. So it sounds like to me like you're not really doing like a personal training kind of thing or a strength coach kind of thing. You just have a group of ladies. So when I first was working at LAC, which is a commercial gym that I was an independent contractor, I trained groups of people as well, and we only had like 1 squat rack, maybe 2, and I wasn't guaranteed to get that squat rack. Now, when I first started the gym, I had 1 squat rack that was, it's a West Side rack from Rogue Fitness, and you can squat on both sides. So I don't know what your options are, but here's a few options for you. You want to group everybody by height, okay? So obviously you don't want to be changing the rack height unless you have like a monolith, which I assume you don't. But you can have like say you have a group of 6, okay? You can have that group of 6 divided into 2 height groups, okay? You could have one group doing squatting, okay? They're all the same height, and then the other group doing like a deadlift, okay? And then in between, what we do in between, like in between squat sets, we might do some upper body work, some dumbbell press, some pull downs, some sort of shoulder stability work. If you've got people that have shoulder issues that need to work on that kind of stuff, could be a corrective or something in between. We'll do like a sweep. If you look at my YouTube video page, there's a improve your squat with this one simple drill. We'll do sweeps in between squat sets, grab a dumbbell press. The one thing I've realized with training women is they don't like standing around. So you want to put something in between those squat sets or those deadlift sets that aren't going to affect their deadlift, their ability to do it, but it'll actually maybe make their deadlift better. Like you can do a little bit of light ab work in between core positioning work in between your deadlifts, or the more upper body volume you can get in, the better. So usually between squats and deadlifts, we add upper body volume. So that you could do that. If you don't have another deadlift bar, you could have the one group, 3 girls doing upper body stuff, nothing crazy, dumbbell press, band pull aparts, maybe some, bottoms up kettlebell overhead press at a half kneeling or something like that. They could be doing that while your group squats, and then they could switch, okay? And then what would happen is if you had one group squatting, one group pulling, then you could bench the next day or the next session, and everybody could go through the bench because, the arm length isn't as variable. So you can pretty much have everybody bench on the same bench. And then same thing for that. in between your bench stuff, you can do band shuffles, single leg glute bridge, glute ham raises, something in between the bench just to give them something to do. And then you also have them like help you unload and load the weights so that you aren't having to do that. And that also keeps them involved with what's going on. So that's kind of one strategy you can work with where you could have one group squatting, one group deadlifting, you bench the next day with stuff in between, and then the next day they work out the group that was squatting with deadlift and vice versa. So it all depends on what you've got going on. I don't know if you have the ability to have somebody squat and deadlift at the same time, or if you have enough plates, but you basically just got to make it work to the best of your ability, and just think about things like that. Pairing things in between main movements that aren't going to affect the performance, that might actually enhance the performance. And I might do a video about what we do. I know on Cressy Performance, Tony has some great stuff of what to do in between the deadlift, what to do in between the squat, what to do in between the bench. But you should be creative, and the more upper body volume you can get in for women, the better. That's going to really help them a ton. Because women just don't have the upper body strength men have, and so they can add in dumbbell presses, push-ups, all that kind of stuff to bring that upper body volume up. Especially most women that I've worked with, generally 2 to 3 days a week is all they can get in here. They're not going to be able to get in here 4 days a week, so it's pretty going to be hard to do like a heavy lower, a heavy upper, a more dynamic lower and a more dynamic upper or a rep upper. It's going to be hard to get that many sessions a week because most of the women I train have jobs, they've got kids, they've got soccer practice, they've got all this stuff. So most of them are going to be 2 days a week, and so you want to get as much, like a full body workout in as much as possible. So let me check your sheet here, your question, and make sure I got everything. Yeah, and just remember, for beginner lifters, that sweet spot is between 65 and 85% performing reps, anywhere between 5 and 3 in that range, and then testing every once in a while. You're going to work in that sweet spot to try and do more triples and more fives at those percentages, working on form, and then the weight will just come with time. Just focus on good technique and good solid accessory work. And then once you're through the main lifts, the accessory work, you can, we pair those together usually too. We might pair a lunge with an upper body movement, like a pull down or something like that, or lunges with ab work. Then we might, after that, do some sort of, either a swing or an RDL paired with something, some sort of like side plank. So we pair everything together so we're constantly moving. Plus that also gives us like a GPP component, of like a cardio component. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone if you're always moving. And then obviously for your big lifts, like your last couple heavy working sets, you're not going to want to pair anything in between because you want to focus on that main lift. So I hope that helped you out. I really appreciate your question. If you have any more questions, you can go to my blog, jimlaird.org. There's a contact me thing on there, as well as you can go to jimlaird.com. There's a contact button on there. Or you can go jimlaird@jimlaird.com if you have any more questions. Have yourself a great day. I hope that helped.